How's everyone?
It's Thursday.
Guys.
No, it's not
So,
Thursday. Hell, it's Wednesday.
welcome. Yeah, is it Wednesday, Thursday? I'm
It's
lost track.
Wednesday.
So,
Wednesday.
we did a poll last week and we asked the members what episode they would like us to talk about. And Tell It to the Frogs won. So, tonight we are here to discuss Tell It to the Frogs.
Yay.
Hey.
Yay.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're digging
Destiny.
deep. We're going early,
Whoa.
early.
Whoa.
30.
Yeah. We're a little early. We're
Are we?
like 30
Destiny.
seconds early.
Look at Destiny's comment.
So,
Hump day.
So going back and rewatching this episode, what was everyone's reaction after not seeing it for a while?
Well, I love when we first see Carol because knowing how she is now and seeing her in that moment and so scared of Ed, it's just shocking to see the transformation that she did. So that part always gets me. But yeah, I have one question when we lead up to a little bit later for all y'all. But I love the episode.
Lisa.
Well, if Shane wasn't riding Laurie before the apocalypse, he already had that pony out of the barn and a saddle on it. And I told that to Sandy, but I use the F word because I'm like, something. I mean,
Something.
he already had a saddle on it if he wasn't riding it already.
Yep.
Carol.
Well, I love going back and watching the episodes. I think I said last on Monday night that I've gone through like 50 some odd times watching through it. And, you know, we've said it before and we'll continue to say it every time you watch something, you watch an episode, an older one, you always see something or something resonates with you differently than it did the first 58 times you watched it. So, but I agree with Barb. I think that seeing Carol's transformation is so, I mean, she's so timid in this episode and she is so completely under his rule. And you can't even, knowing her from, you know, up to season 11, you think, how could she ever have been that?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
It's
So,
like, wow.
yeah.
And I think that I got that feeling. I think we said it maybe last week or the week before. That's why, you know, we said there's no way Sophia could have survived. If Sophia had survived, she would have remained that way, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I always think that she might have fought harder to keep her alive, and she might have if Ed wasn't around, and you know, to keep Sophia alive, she might have fought harder. You know, like Rick was fighting for Carl and Judith. So, and I said, you know, earlier that it's in her. It was in her. It was always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know when I went back and watched it, the first thing I was watching it, I just smiled because just to see all the characters, the beloved characters and the dialogue between each of them, the storyline that was building, I just love going back and seeing that, those relationships build.
Right. I do have a question. Just the timeline. So we know that, as Eliza said, Laurie and Shane had their little affair, but it wasn't too soon after Rick shows up that they, you know, were in the tent doing their thing. So, you know, how do we actually know that Judith is Shane's? Because it's so close timeline, wasn't it?
Well, because the episode before in number 2 is where we see her and Shane
out in the woods
bumping uglies.
Right.
You know.
But so the timeline there, like, how do we know?
It could have only been, well, because Andrea and them were on the trip with Glenn and them in town looking for supplies. So they could have only been gone maybe a week or 2 at the most.
I mean, I know she looks more like Shane, but still, I mean, that timeline is so close when you go back and look at it and go, wait a minute, didn't they just do it with
Yeah.
Shane and her? And now she's in the tent with Rick. It's like,
Yeah.
I can see that. It's like we need Maury Povich to do us a DNA test, or Jerry Springer.
Father.
Rick Grimes, you're not the father.
Not
oh, father, not the father.
father, not the father.
Father, not the father.
But you know, I felt sorry for Shane too. I mean, that look of just total defeat
Yeah.
when she came down to the, riverbed and, or the quarry and said, tell it to the frogs. I mean, it was totally crushing for him. And they always say, hell hath no woman like a woman, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Well, they haven't met Shane, obviously.
Yeah.
Sandy thinks it's Abraham's baby.
Yeah, and that was his frustration. I took that out on Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that wasn't. He was defending the girls a little bit, but he took it to the extreme because he was.
Uh-huh.
Perfect punching bag.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I agree with that.
I would have done it to Ed too.
Yeah.
So since we're already discussing and we're jumping into it, do you want me to just go ahead and put the slides up so we can kind of talk about them?
Yeah.
Sure.
And when you get to the point, I have the one more question, but I want to get to that point first, and I don't want to jump too far ahead.
So, and we can bounce back and forth and just kind of, chit chat about this.
Look.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Now, I don't know about you, but could you have done this? Could you have cut your hand off?
Yes.
Barb, she's like, yes, absolutely.
I probably would have did it sooner.
Barb's like, I wouldn't even have need the saw, and I'd have just gnawed it off.
Exactly. I'm out of here.
I love this scene, and Michael Rooker is such a great actor. I laugh every time I see the opening episode of the episode when he's doing this, because he's just talking to himself about getting jacked up in the military, and he's laughing and
praying to God and then cursing at God, and yeah.
So Dawn, could have you cut off your hand?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have. I mean, of course, none of us have ever been in that position.
Right. I wouldn't have drawn those walkers because I wouldn't have been screaming like that. You know what I mean? Because he draws walkers there to bang on that door. So,
Right.
no.
I mean, I guess I could have. So I guess you get past the point of pain, and I think he was already in a state of delirium anyway from the heat. So he may not have even felt the pain. But yeah, I mean, the alternative of, getting eaten alive or, cutting your hand off,
I don't know.
So Destiny said hell to the no. She couldn't do it. Regina, of course, our little badass redhead, she said to live, yes, absolutely.
Yep.
and
Terry says you have to hand it to Merle. Stop it. Stop it.
Stop.
Merle Stubbs. All right. So yeah, I don't know that I could do that.
I don't either. I would have to be at the end of my rope.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
I would.
So they're talking about Gig and Frogs in the first slide there, while Lori's doing something very matronly and domestic.
And there's old Glenn having a hell of a time in his Charger.
Uh-huh. I love that shot through the binoculars. I just thought that was so great.
Wasn't that Carl's first and last haircut of the apocalypse?
I think so.
Did Jesse give him some kind of a trim, or was that
No. She wasn't around long enough.
That's great. First and last. I gotta remember that.
first? So yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
That's sad.
That's sad.
Thought of that.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so everybody has seen these pictures when Carl's reaction when he sees helicopter boy come out of the box truck. How does this hit you guys?
Right in the feels.
Yep.
You know, that was such a sweet, such an emotional moment. He just falls to the ground holding him. I mean, yeah, it was something.
And that's where you bond with the character, Rick. That's when I did, because, you know, he cared about his family, and then, you know, everyone else became his family, and you felt that bond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Yeah.
acting, obviously, on all of them.
And you know, for everybody to give him a little Carl shit that he was, you know, a little turd or whatever, to see this actor grow up in front of us and his character develop. I mean, you know, it was sad that his last episode was probably his best episode, or his last season was probably his best season.
Yeah. But I mean, what range with this kid, with Chandler?
Mm-hmm.
You know, for being that young. I mean, look at that face, just pure joy.
Yep.
Oh,
Lori's like, what the hell?
Right? Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now.
The look on her face is like, what the?
Oh shit.
It's like, damn
And
it.
that's what Aaron said. My favorite part is seeing Lori's face like, oh shit. That's right, Aaron.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Because she knows what's coming.
there you
So here
go.
we have it. There it is.
There's the oh shit moment.
There's the other oh shit look. Yeah.
Speaking of oh shit,
Yep.
I love that. I mean, both there's so much going on that's not being said.
Yeah, Rick's like, I can get my picker out. Shane's like, I can put mine up.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you want your python back? I need to put
Yeah.
mine away.
Yeah, that's the moment that we understand that was Shane's last, you know,
Yeah.
with Lori. And he looks kind of sad about it. But yeah, I felt bad for him in this episode. Later on when he becomes a douche, but not so much.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on there.
Felt bad for Shane.
No?
I mean, I did too. I felt bad for him.
I didn't, because it's like this. This was supposedly your friend since high school, the way they talked about their teachers and everything. And you know, this is his wife. What? The apocalypse been going on for a month, and you're already jumping in the bed with your best friend's wife? I don't feel sorry for him.
I'm with you, Dawn.
Well, that's the reason I said I think they were doing something before the apocalypse. I mean, because do we know what the timeline is from when everything went down and Rick finds them?
Well, he was saying when he was having dinner with Morgan, I think it was like so many days.
It was like 33 days or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. So about a little over maybe a month or two.
So if we say just at most give it 2 months,
Okay.
I mean that's pretty quick to be jumping in the sack with your husband's best friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, Terry, with you. They did had
Yeah.
something going.
I believe that too.
That might have been why Rick and Lori were always fighting.
Mm.
That he knew somebody was somewhere.
Because, you know, when she was constantly, you know, on his back and saying hateful things and stuff. And that's, you know, that seems to be par for the course too.
Well, when somebody's cheating, they're the ones that always start in the
Yeah.
argument.
So I wonder if she was pregnant before the accident.
No, I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
No, I think she got pregnant within, like I said, the weeks, the stooping in the woods, and
Right.
then coming back.
But she finally realized it on the farm. So
The bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you want to talk about it now? Now who's saying oh shit?
They both are. Mm.
She's like, oh my god, and he's like, I know.
And you know how Shane takes that, even though he knows he has to step back, he actually takes a few steps back.
Yeah.
Sandy says, how would it have gone without Rick? And I think earlier she said, what would it have been like with Rick as the leader if Rick had not ever come back and Shane had been the leader?
I think he would have just took care of Lori and Carl, and everybody else would have been screwed over.
Yeah. Because he never wanted to go back and make any runs. He wanted to stay right where they were.
Mm-hmm. And he would have took over Herschel's farm, and yep. He would have been he'd have been a bully. I think he would have been Negan.
He would have killed Herschel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they never would have gone. They never would have gone to the CDC.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
He killed Crazy Eye. He did. He killed Crazy Eyes.
They would have gone to Fort Benning.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it would have been a completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Terry.
She had us pudding Bob. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
family. All right. So I thought this was interesting. The reason that I chose this slide, the first one on the left there with Dale and Andrea and Amy, if you look in the background, you see Carol and you see Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the things that abusers will do, is that they will isolate their victims.
Yeah.
And although they couldn't completely isolate, Ed did a really good job of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Sophia's look on her face when Carol jumps up to take that log out of the fire.
Yeah.
She knows.
Don't make eye contact with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a great man in person. Adam's awesome. Adam's awesome. Well, there's some people out there that can't separate the character from the actor.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Adam is a really nice guy and funny and cool, and that just shows you how good they are, that they make us love them or hate them so much.
Yeah, everybody's jumping. Destiny says, "Oh, Adam's hilarious," and Regina says, "But he loved Carol's ass." Not talking about Carol on the TV, talking about mine. Yeah, he was fun. We had a good time with him.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are.
Aw,
I know.
you just wanted shirtless Rick.
I did, absolutely. I would have been doing a disservice to my sister wives had I not shown the shirtless Rick.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's a must, right, Dawn?
Yes, it is. And I love this scene because when Lori, before she gives him back the ring, she says, "I am sorry for all the mistakes, the fights, the anger." That right there is her admission to the guilt. So I thought that was interesting that she said that to him,
Mm-hmm.
that she brought that up. So that leads me to believe, like you said, Eliza, that something was going on before.
Mm-hmm.
He had that pony out of the barn and saddled up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. I'm just saying.
Ride, Bowley, ride.
He's a beautiful, beautiful man. Whew.
Regina said he already had a pancake made,
Yep.
or she already had a pancake made.
And the frustration begins.
And I thought this was interesting because the storm was, up above him, behind him. And you
Mhm.
see the clouds and the storm clouds behind him, and he's fuming. He's thinking about everything.
And Darren Bott was a genius doing that because the storm was starting to create inches.
That's right. Absolutely.
I didn't
Great,
even think about that, Dawn.
great
Yeah.
imagery. Great imagery.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's his descent right there.
Yeah. So here's the morning after the bow chicka wow wow. And of course, Carol doing his laundry as the good little wifey that she is.
And the thing about that scene is when Rick comes up to her and thanks her, there's something about that just makes intrigued with his character more that he took the time to say thank you to this lady that's doing his laundry when somebody would have just walked on. Like
Yeah.
that just stuck out to me of who he was. You know what I'm saying? As a person.
Yeah, I agree because she wasn't getting that from
Right.
douche nozzle.
Because
Yeah.
she
Nozzle.
didn't know how to accept the compliment.
Yeah, because she wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, somebody's getting picked up.
It's Memphis. It is what it is.
Say no more. Yeah.
And I love the exchange between Amy and Andrea when he comes walking up because, you know, they're intense and I'm sure it was an intense situation. Get it?
Yeah.
Intense.
Intense. You're so
Nothing.
dorky.
I got crickets around here.
You got tense. You got tense.
And I love the look that the two girls give each other and they're just laughing, you know, because they know.
They know. They heard it. They
Yeah.
heard it.
That goes back when you're looking at those faces. It goes back to when Rick finally finds his family, and then you could look at the background people and everybody in shock that wow,
Yeah.
you know, the people who traveled with him, and this is your wife. Oh my God, you know, you could
Yeah.
see all the background actors in their faces.
Because
Yeah.
they're thinking they've been watching that thing between Lori and Shane too.
Yeah. Yep.
And I
Yes,
think that's why I
Destiny,
love,
I do have jokes. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing it.
and that's why I love Dell's reaction in the woods so much. In the
Yeah.
next, I guess it was the next season or next episode. I'm sorry.
So there we go.
I'm gonna get to meet Destiny's boo and Regina's boo.
So here's when the kids are screaming and everybody goes running. And they find the deer with the walker chewing on it.
And in that
Yeah.
great arrow when we first see him, the walker.
Is that Nicotero?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, I did not know that.
Have you seen the show? No, I'm just kidding.
Shut up, Barb.
She's
We won't talk about that.
not on her 50th time, Barb.
Oh, okay.
No. I knew that he
There.
was I knew he was one of Rick's big kills early on too. And
So
look at that
there's the
baby.
boo.
Look at that baby.
Look at how young he was.
He's
I didn't
such a
like-
baby.
I thought he was mean.
He was a little turd, but he'd been around his brother too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but look at them biceps, Regina and Destiny. Check them out, huh? Look at them arms. He got guns.
He got better guns now.
Yeah. Big
Yeah.
time.
He had little 32s. Now he's got, Colt 45s.
He filled out pretty well.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
And there's the walker head.
Samara says that's every man at my local Go Mart.
Yes. Yeah, West Virginia.
Yep. I'm right next door to West Virginia, so I understand.
I love this because, for Daryl's redneckiness, he does come out with some of the very most obvious things. Like, you got to get them in the head. Don't y'all know that?
Yeah.
And
Come on, people.
yeah. And then later on when he's talking about, observe it, or earlier on when he was talking about observe it, look it up,
Mhm.
Yeah. I love that. So great. I think that's probably one of the things that sealed the deal for me was right there. All that blood and gore.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Oh.
Aw. He's like,
Poor-
you're taking my car. I got to go back. They're going to
Yeah,
make me go
it's
back.
exactly it. I've got to go back because Rick looks at him and he says something about not just two of us. And
He's like, fuck. They always want me.
yeah.
That's where my question is.
Okay.
And I know we've talked about this before, but since we're here, the fact that Lori says, you know, oh, they're all going back, and she's stopped. She's standing over by the camper, and she's like, you know, he'll show you. And then she gets all mad that he's going.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any insight on that?
I
'Cause
think
he's saying go, and then
she's just playing that.
she's what?
I think she's just trying to like play along. Like I don't think she's serious. Like she's acting like she's the wife that misses him and like trying to make him feel guilty, but I think she really doesn't care if he goes because Shane's there.
I don't. I mean, I think she doesn't want him to go, but I think it's more for Carl.
Right, not for her.
I don't think it's so much for her personally as I think it's more for Carl.
It just threw me off because she's like standing there going, you know, well, he'll show you. And then she's like all pissed off at him later. It's like, didn't you just tell him to go?
But isn't that how she is all the time? She plays Rick and Shane off each other.
She's done that once before, and I don't remember. I can't think off the top of my head, but
Yeah, even Terry said that she plays both sides the whole time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
Four bullets.
And this was the 4 bullets. And there
Yeah.
were 4 guys going.
Jeez.
And you almost wonder if Shane is hoping that he needs to use them, you know?
Yeah, right. Don't come back. Don't come back. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, why would you do that? Why would you say something? I didn't understand that exchange. Why would you say something like that? So here we get to the title.
Tell it to the
Scene.
frogs.
And she's just gotten pissed off at her husband.
Mhm.
And now she's going over there and basically just telling Shane off.
And you know, I agreed with Shane's point. You know, don't take it out on him, on Carl. You know,
Yeah.
Carl was having a good time with Shane. They were down on the water, and kids don't get to have a lot of good times in a zombie apocalypse. And so, yeah, I mean, she seemed a little harsh on him, but she's trying to put that, oh, it's over, completely done, don't look at me, don't talk to me bullshit, you know.
when they were originally talking about the frogs, she was like, you know, oh, you talk to him, I'm a girl. And, you know, so she was allowing it. And Carl has no clue of what had just happened,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, yeah, you're right. She's had no right to do that.
Mm-mm.
But don't you think also the wording she used when she said, you lost that privilege?
Mm-hmm.
An interesting choice of words. Privilege.
Well, so do you think he really thought Rick was dead? I do.
I don't know. I don't know because I think he knew he was alive or he wouldn't have put that gurney in front of the door. Why would you put a gurney in front of the door if you thought somebody was dead?
Well, maybe he thought he was alive at that time, but I don't think that he thought he survived what was going on in the hospital. I think he thought there's no way he would have survived that. And I think he even says that in a couple episodes later when he's drunk at the CDC.
Mhm.
You know, how could anyone survive that? So I think he, you know, that goes to what Daryl did with Judith in season 11. But I think he really thought he was dead, that there was no way he would have gotten out of there alive.
And I think he did that as a just in case because he doesn't know what was happening around him. So he didn't want anybody getting in that room. So just in case.
Yeah.
Even if he was.
He knew he was still alive in the room or he wouldn't have put the gurney there.
Right.
Yeah, because then he turns around and he tells Lori at the CDC that he put his ear to his chest and he didn't hear a heartbeat or he didn't hear him breathe. But I mean, I don't know. Gina says, I think he was hoping he died. Probably, honey.
Yeah.
I agree.
I still think he put that bed up, you know, for many reasons. And like I said, maybe a just in case, avoid people getting in there or the the dead that he was seeing at the time.
Yeah.
And Sandy says consciously or unconsciously, Shane left Rick dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough scene.
Yay! That's a
I
fun
love
moment.
this scene.
So good.
So funny. They were talking about what they missed the most in the apocalypse.
I missed my Maytag, and then it quickly went to
Vibrator. You can say it.
vibrator.
Me
The
too.
Steely Dans. Yeah. And that was the first time that Carol's probably actually laughed
Mhm.
and smiled and, really showed a little bit of joy. It was right there.
Right. Which that was quickly ended.
Yeah. What do you call her? An educated, uppity coos?
It's not nose.
Goose?
Coos?
Goose.
What the hell's a coos?
I have no idea. No, Terry, it was not a Maytag vibrator. That was her drive. Well, that was probably the spin cycle, but who knows?
Oh my God.
And then, oh, did I miss this?
Oh, I just looked it up. I looked up what coos is.
What's Coos?
Common variance or commonly cowish. So he was calling
Ah,
her a
He was
cow.
calling her a cow.
Now we know.
Mhm.
Rude.
Rude.
And I don't have the slides. I didn't get the slides put in there for the fight between Shane and Ed, and I wish I had because
It was really hard to get those.
yeah,
Even when you when you did a pause on the screen, it was like so fast and it was just so blurry.
yeah. I mean, he just beat the crap out of him.
If I was home, I could have probably did a video and then took pictures from that. That'd probably been easier.
I agree, Pam. Ed didn't want her to have any friends.
Mm-mm.
No, and it goes back to the isolation thing. If an abuser can isolate their victims, then they don't ever have to worry about outside influences.
Okay, so since I haven't watched it 50 times straight through like you guys, did I dream this up or does Carol somewhere later explain why she cut her hair so short?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I didn't dream that up. Okay.
No,
No.
did not dream that.
Henry tells that story to Daryl at the hilltop
Mm-hmm.
because she told him why she cut her hair so short.
Yeah.
Because it kept getting pulled. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it
not-
took her that long to feel
Right.
safe. So
Okay.
Right.
Good. I didn't dream it.
you want all the details, I got you.
And I love the fact that Andrea like literally says, do it yourself, and she throws whatever it is, the sheet or the shirt or whatever she's got, and then he turns around and just whips it right back at her. But she was so powerful in just that 1 second, boy. She was taking the man down,
Yeah. Yeah. I do wish Andrea had stayed on a little longer. Well, I wish she could have stayed.
She was just getting into a good character,
Mm-hmm.
getting there.
She was a little mealy when it came to the governor. That's the part that bothered me because she was such a strong female, and she just, what did Michonne say, for a warm bed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gave it up for a warm bed.
She should, because in the comics she is with Rick. I think
Yeah.
that's where it should have driven it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. As Samara said, the way I sobbed seeing Carol's long hair again, bald like a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So here we have the guys have made it to the rooftop.
The ugly cry.
One of many. Sorry, Destiny and Regina. I don't mean to say nothing bad about you, boo.
That's
Ugly.
with his ugly cries. And really, when you think about The Walking Dead, it's like, Rick's the leader, but here starts where Daryl is the heart of the show because he's always the one that is in those emotional scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Girl with Beth,
Well, and they always say, if I think what is it if you want someone to cry in a scene, put the camera on Melissa. I think Norman Reedus is just as top notch.
Mm-hmm.
When I was reading somewhere about that he reaches back into his past with his relationship with his father and stuff
Yeah.
to really dig through those emotions. But when he cries, it's like the whole world cries with him, you know, because he's such a strong alpha male character, but he shows those breakdown moments, and when he has those breakdown moments, we break down right beside him.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rick, he just had the one with Lori, and really, I feel like the one with Lori was even more powerful than Carl's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he completely loses it.
The hand.
The hand. There it is.
Yeah. And then Daryl picks it up and takes it with him.
Right.
Puts it
Puts it in Glenn's backpack.
Wraps it up in a do-rag and puts it in Glenn's back.
puts it in his pocket. Glenn's probably like, why me all the time?
Glenn's face. Oh,
You kind of want to go, little dude, get ready. They're going to shove you in a well. They're going to have you doing all kinds of crap, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Walker bait.
Walker bait.
Poor
And
guy.
that's it.
It was, I mean, it's, you know, it was a great episode. And, you know, I'd, other than just life and watching other shows and stuff, I don't know why I've not ever sat and watched it again from the beginning.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Like I said, I've seen several episodes multiple times, but not like from start to finish in, you know, the series. I couldn't run it and do anything. I can't keep it running in the background at work. I listen to light classical music when I'm working. If I have it running on the TV, I'm going to be like this. You know, I told Dawn, I said, I need to get COVID or pneumonia or the flu or dengue fever, something that I can be home for a couple of weeks and just binge this.
Well, that's how I started watching it, because when it first came out, I had coworkers back when I was living in Indiana who said, "Oh, you got to watch a show about zombies." I'm not watching a show about zombies. They don't scare me, you know. And then a couple of years later, I'm on the couch and after surgery, and I was out of work for a few months, and I saw it on Netflix. I'm like, well, let me see what it's about. And the moment it got me was when Rick pulls down that visor of the family. That's where I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
You know, it was couple of, what was it, the first episode, you know, that's where I knew I was going to get hooked. But the same thing, like, I didn't want to watch it when it first came out.
Well, my previous fiance had watched season 1 and halfway through 2, and they like, you've got to watch this. I'm like, you know, and I binged it. And not only did I binge that, but then I had to watch Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, The Dead of the Dead. And I watched like all these zombie things, like, you know, in like a 4-week period. That's all and I swear to God, every time I looked outside, I thought I saw one moving in the woods. I'm like, I'm having a little bit too much overload, but yeah.
What about you, Dawn? Did you watch it from the very beginning?
No, my brother got me watching it. He's like, you have to watch this show. And I'm like, I don't, because I usually work on Sunday nights because floor sets at work. And he's like, you got to watch this. And I'm the type of person back then, I didn't have the DVR or anything like that. So, and I have to watch it from the beginning. Right? I'm not starting in the middle. And so I watched it on Netflix and I got hooked. I mean, it was Rick. It was like sucked me in because I've always, I don't want to sound negative, most men in my life that I've dealt with were not loyal or there. And loyalty is what sucks me in. Like, if I go missing, Rick's going to come and find me. What I took from that. That's what I loved about that series. And that's what hooked me, was his character.
Yeah. I didn't watch it from the very beginning either. I had just finished a show. And so I was having separation anxiety from this show. And I did not want to start another one. Mm-hmm. Of course, my Regina, she had started watching it from day one. She kept telling me, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. We can watch it together, whatever. And I'm like, I do not want to get sucked into another show. I can't. I'm in my feels from this other show. I can't do it. And so it took me, I want to say it took me till the second season was getting ready to come out.
Mm.
And I had read the comics. I loved the comics. I win, yeah. I had read the comics, so I loved the comics, but I just did not want to get started on another show. And so finally, she wore me down. She kept nagging me and kept nagging. No, I'm kidding. She just kept saying, "You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it." So I finally was like, okay, I didn't have anything else to do, and I turned on the first episode. And the minute that man walked out of the hospital, I was done. I was done. I'm like, holy crap, there's all these dead bodies around, and you guys all know me. I'm a huge Tom Savini fan, love Greg Nicotero from, the old stuff. And I saw all those bodies lined up and all them white little sheets, and some of them covered and some of them not. And I went, holy crap, this. And of course, he was half naked in those pretty little blue boxers of his.
He wore the same pair of boxers for 7 years.
Yeah, but Carol was washing them, so it's okay. I'm going to find those boxers, Elisa. I'm going to find them.
Carol's going to find those boxers. That's right.
He went commando most of the show. What are you talking about?
Give her the jeans. Give her the pants. Give her the pants.
I don't care. I don't care.
So I want to know what the show was that you had separation anxiety from.
That's what I was wondering.
Well, I my tastes are like all over the place, and I'm a big sci-fi fan too, and I love fantasy stuff and everything. And I had just finished watching Eureka, and I absolutely loved it. And so that was it, because it's kind of got a little bit of sci-fi. It's got a little weird fantasy stuff going on, and so and I had just finished that, and so
cool.
But yeah.
Finished the X-Files, and X-Files was going away, and that was my show forever. And I thought, I'm not getting invested in another show.
Yeah.
Then I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I could see, because I was a big X-Files fan too. So, and a big Trekkie, of course.
Remember what I was watching. But I definitely, once I started watching the show, I don't remember how far in, but I know I started the comics because I couldn't, I wanted to compare. I love that. So,
well,
yeah,
I've started it over, and I'm gonna watch it. It may take me a year with my work schedule and my parents, but I am determined to watch it again all the way through. Like I said, I've seen a lot of episodes multiple times because there's some episodes that I just really liked, and we'll pay attention and we'll rewatch. But I know that. Carol, you said you'll keep it running sometimes at work, and I know Sandy, you'll keep it running. I could not get jack doodly shit done.
Like I said, I could walk through the showroom and I'll stop in front of my desk. It'll be an episode, and I'll just stop and stand there, and people will come in looking at me like, "What the hell is she doing?" And I'm just standing there like, I get it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
We have several people in the comments that have said that they rewatched it. Kiki watches it when it ends on Netflix. She starts season 1. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Terry's right. We've never had a reaction to a show like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess I started to say, Star Trek and Star Wars have had a huge fan base, and especially Star Trek.
Yeah.
But that's different. They're weird.
Shots fired.
It's different. I mean, I don't know why I don't know what has made this show create a family of fans. The other conventions have fandoms. This is, a big freaking family.
Mm-hmm.
I think the show and the writers, and it began with Rick making everybody family, and and even Deanna. I love that quote where she said, "You all been different parts. You all would have never been friends in the real world," and they were all together.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It still amazes me to this day that we have and it's not to get mushy or anything, but it still amazes me that we can go to places like the camp specifically, and people walk up and you're like, oh, hi, I saw you on Facebook. I mean, that's how we met Barb. I mean, Gina and I were going to the first camp. We went to the camp family reunion in October.
Yeah.
Barb said something about on one of the comments, she said, well, I'm coming by myself. And I'm like, hell, well, hook up with me and Gina. And that's how that all started, you know?
And
Then we went on an 8-hour
Carol,
tour and we met Destiny.
Carol picked me up over a stray dog.
Yeah, sure did. It just kills me that we can, and I don't think there's any other fandom that does stuff like that. I don't think, you know, that you get that kind of reaction.
Well, you know, in our wonderful conversation, or I shouldn't say our conversation, it was the conversation that you had and the dialogue that continued on Twitter with that Sandy did and then you did and then they did. To have that exchange between Angela Kang and you and Scott Gimple, you know, that was just amazing. And then for that night, for Angela Kang to tweet, twit, or twat about it.
She's a twatter.
And, you know, Sandy made a comment up to her about that. And then you made it. And then we sent a group video. And then she sent us a group picture. And it was just like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
When she made the comment that we were the unicorns and not them. And I'm like, wow, you know, that says a lot about the fandom.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Dawn, you want to tell that really quick story?
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
You. Because you're the one who noticed. I'm yapping away doing all the New York talk. So go ahead, tell the story.
So we go to Harrelson to take David Grayson there to show him a location. And we lose our prime parking spot. And Barb's like, we're going to lose our parking spot. And I'm like, well, let's just take him. So we go, we come back. It's starting to, was it dark? It was just starting.
Yeah.
It was dark.
So Barb's like, let's park over here close to the veranda. And she's like, so we're walking down the back side. And Barb's like, well, let me show you where they used to park, where they had the camp. And she was just like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, Barb. And I was like, putting my arm out if I was hitting her. Barb. She's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Barb, Angela Kang and Scott Gimple. I didn't want to now because I didn't want them to hear me. Because I just looked and I was like in shock. I was just like shaking. And I was like, Barb, Angela Kang, Scott Gimple. And then she looked, and then that's when we come around and I seen Carol and we were like, she's like, well, we're like Angela Kang, Scott Gimple. So we walked around and they had moved. It was behind where they have the fitness place.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked around and then we like dared Carol. We're like, Carol, go say something. She's like, okay, I'm going. So we go around the corner and Carol, you can say what you said.
I just thanked them. I said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I said, but I just wanted to thank you. I want you to know that there's 500 fans in Sonoy tonight that are a family because of what you guys have created. And we just wanted to say thank you. And they said, thank you to us and, whatever. And then we just left.
They put their hands on their heart, I think.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yep.
And then we just left. We didn't ask for photo. We didn't ask for autographs, nothing. And of course, if there's no pictures, it didn't happen. But thankfully, that night or the next day was when Angela Kang posted on Twitter or something that said to the 3 fans that stopped us in Sonoy last night, we thank you, whatever it was. And so we were just over the moon at meeting mommy and daddy.
And I think that's what was so overwhelming to me is that Angela Kang thought about that moment 24 hours later.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what really,
Yeah. And I think it was Sandy that said, Sandy was the one that tweeted, those are my friends. And then we all got on board and we sent her the group video and the picture. And then she turned around from the production studio and sent us a shot of them in the production studio.
Samara said, you can't dare my mother to do a damn thing. She will do it every time.
Yeah, she was more like Angela Kang was, I think, a little bit more in her tweet was more like how it meant the world to them too, and it wasn't just thank you. So
And it was nice
Mhm.
because Scott Gimple actually said thank you as well. And that man never talks and he never smiles. And he smiled for us that night.
and didn't he tweeted too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then me and Barb go to the Mexican place because we hadn't eaten all day. And we sat there and stared at our food. And we just was going, we just met Angela Kay and Scott Gimple. We couldn't even function. We were just like,
In awe.
We
In
were-
total shock.
yes.
I'll have to post a picture of the three of us on the couch that night when we found out the tweet and everything. I'll have to post that picture.
And there's that picture of the three of us standing where we met them.
Yeah. So that was our little touch.
Mhm.
Yeah. Angel says y'all were crying like babies. We were crying. We did.
I'm still getting teared up about it.
I know.
So
It was.
Well,
it was
thank
pretty
you guys
amazing.
for voting that episode. Sorry, Dawn. What was that?
Still kick myself in the butt not saying, can we get a picture?
Yeah, I think it was a lot. I think that was respectful though, and I think they probably even thought that more too.
Yeah.
What Carol said was perfect. What we did, they probably saw you and me walk around the first time, and then we come back again, and we're like, let's act like we was just like, oh wait, I think we know them, and then Carol, do your thing. So, but I just want to thank everybody for voting on that episode. That was a lot of fun. So thank you.
that was good. I enjoyed it. So
And we'll have to do that again.
Yeah. And we'll do it more if you guys want us to talk about an episode.
awesome.
That's
All right,
also
guys.
something we could do once Dead City's over too.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. We love y'all.
Bye.
Good night, guys. Love you.
Night.
Closing credits.